Good morning, good morning. Hello, Astor. You gonna come up? So you're watching Daily Devotions. It is Friday, June 7th. Yesterday was my youngest son's birthday. So happy birthday, Taliesin. And my name is Red Moon Eagle, and I am doing Daily Devotions with Moon Eagle right here. We are in the tide of renewal. This is the spring equinox to summer solstice. And we are in the season of Beltane. So we are going from Beltane to solstice, or Litha. And I wanted to point out that since I started Daily Devotions, I have gone through the entire Celtic Devotional book. I have also gone through every single one of these decks. Since I started Daily Devotional in 2017, I have managed to slowly and methodically kind of shift and change and go through things over the years. And one of the things that I started doing a couple years ago is I started pulling oracle cards and going through many of them. So I have used the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle, the Isis Oracle, the Medicine Heart Oracle by Alana Fairchild, Earth Warriors Oracle, Egyptian Gods Oracle, Sacred Self-Care Oracle, Sacred Rebels Oracle, the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and Animal Spirit Guidebook, Sacred Rebels, I said that, and then the Celtic Devotional by Caitlin Matthews. So I have ordered a couple more decks to give us some more fun, and they should be here in another week or so. And in the meantime, I am going to be randomly choosing. So today I've chosen Sacred Rebels and the Animal Spirit Guidebook. I will probably continue to use the Animal Spirit Guidebook because I really like that one. I'm finding that there's some that I go to reach for all the time. And so I'm going to start with the Celtic Devotional book today, because I think revisiting one of the original books that I started Daily Devotional with is probably a good idea. This book I got in 96. And I have loved this book so much. Thank goodness it was hardback, or I would have destroyed it by now. So we're going to start with Friday morning. Sanctuary of the soul, cave of the heart, I come forth from you this spring day. I brighten my soul at the threshold of welcome. Greeting of love, greeting of life, greeting of light. Inspire my heart, my mind, my body this spring day. May my soul be peaceful, preserved from crown of light to veil of night. In the holy hollow of my heart, I greet you, miracle of mornings. You have wrought the song of spring and bid me sing with you in the silence of morning. May your song weave my path this day. Soul friends and teacher of my path, show me the way in the darkness when I cannot hear the Spirit's voice. Give me the gift of trust and perseverance to continue on my way, even as the sun turns its faithful track. I remember those who lack inspiration, who have nothing to look forward to. May the wells of blessing be unblocked within their hearts, and the rich gift of life may be restored to them by the grace of the holy ones. With every beat of my heart, I acknowledge the gift of compassion that I have been shown in my life. I remember and I give thanks. I extend unconditional and forgiving love to all. As the spring day unfolds its freedom, I ask a blessing upon all men who are imprisoned without liberty or bond by the onerous obligation or oppressive livelihoods or unemployment that restrict their souls. May the holy living ones lead them to heart's freedom and to soul's peace. And may the soul of manhood be restored once more. I make the encircling constellation of spring, justice of Virgo, nurture of Crater, scrutiny of Boots, nobility of Corona Borealis, courage of Leo, vigilance of Hydra, faith of Como, Berenses, skill of Cancer, questions of Corvus, 9 constellations to surround and encircle me this day without fear. May the blessings of the revered mysteries, secret of sunrise, be with me this spring day. Isn't that beautiful? I actually just love this book. If you ever find this used or on a digital copy, get it. It's just beautiful. I've been working on a little prayer book myself for quite some time. I keep saying I'm writing things. I am. I'm constantly writing. I just need to get to the point where I can figure out how to publish these things. Astra, hey. What? What? Come here. Random. Sacred Rebels Guidebook. So the card that was in this deck today was 20. Softly, softly, the tender touch. The feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you. When we are at a point, Astra, you're interrupting. Come here. Okay. The feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you. We are at a point in life where we want to attain greater things, but don't necessarily have proportionally greater supply of energy at our disposal. It is time to work smarter rather than harder. This is the way of the feminine wisdom. That's a true statement, right? However, a cultural ignorance of the feminine way currently prevails. We are generally taught that the more force we use, the more we try to make things happen, the more we will achieve. The feminine way is not about force, nor is it about driving, striving, pushing, grabbing at what we can in order to create. It is about inviting what we wish for to come into the space we have provided, internally and in our lives. This method cultivates more energy, causes less stress, and attracts what is desired. It is manifestation by invitation rather than by will or force. This oracle brings a message. You don't need to push quite so hard to receive what is naturally coming to you. Your push comes from a place of uncertainty over whether or not you will succeed. You need to relax. You need to have more faith in yourself. All things come in time, rightfully and according to a greater loving wisdom. You are not immune to this. You shall have your time to shine. Rebel against any voice of fear within you and around you that tells you otherwise. It is okay to become softer, to feel the energy of what you wish to attract in your life. You are not You're not fantasizing or daydreaming or failing to live in the real world if you do this. You are actually working with the feminine art of manifestation through gentle beingness and attraction. As you soften into becoming what you are seeking, what you wish for will not be able to resist your shining, inviting presence. Perfect. Okay. And then Animal Spirit Guidebook. Bear. Bear is the next card. Waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew. After a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort is difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move towards the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of this spiritual quest can feel tricky, cumbersome, full of obstacles. But you have no choice, bear. Winter wanes and the warmth of spring emerges and your transformation begins. When in balance, inner strength, yearning to grow. When out of balance, withdrawal, lethargy, heaviness. To bring into balance, movement and exercise. Okay, so bear and feminine, what is it? Softly, the tender touch. So one of the things that I didn't read, so I want to read this. To feel that you're already naturally abundant being who gratefully invites more of what you want in your life is rather different to feeling lack, fear, and wishing your world would change. It's a bit like dressing for the job you want, even if it's not yet the job you have. You energetically embody what you wish to attract more in your life. Like attracts like. Okay, so one of the things that kind of comes up with both of these cards is this newness, the emerging spring. I think it really resonates with the energy of the tide of renewal, which is spring equinox to summer solstice. And one of the things that really bubbles up in both of these cards as I was reading them, Astra, I will play with you in a minute, girl. She's like standing at the top of the stairs howling because she likes to hear the echo of her own voice in the hallway. It's hilarious. Anyway, and she wants me to run up and down the stairs to play with her. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So, renewal and abundance and feminine gentleness. There's a quality of bear that I think bear is perceived by a lot of people as being this big aggressive animal. And the totem animal, if it were grizzly bear, it would be a little bit different. But grizzly bears also have this intellectuality that comes up when I pull that card. But regular black bear, regular brown bear, this is the gentleness of awakening. It is starting to awaken into a new space. And looking at this feminine energy for waking into a new space, I think is valuable. No matter whether you be masculine, feminine, whether you be gender neutral, no matter what your sexuality orientation is, no matter what that worldview is, there is an aspect of duality. There's an aspect of magnetism that happens with shadow and light. And these two cards, I think, are showing us this feminine light aspect within a perceived idea of shadow. When you're moving forward and you're starting new things, it can feel very like things are really hard and it's struggle bus central, and that you have to push, you have to really shove and push to move things forward. And that's not really the case. There's a flow, there's an energy, there's a gradualness in moving in a direction that I think is valuable from this feminine card. One of the things that I liked is feminine way is not about force. It's about inviting. And it reminds me of I can't remember which story it is, but there was an old Russian story that I vaguely remember reading a long time ago, and it was about the woman who invited a guest in, and the guest did not treat her well, broke all of the hospitality rules, and she never blew up, she never got angry. But when he went to sleep in the guest bed that night, he wasn't able to sleep well because the mattress was too hard, or the blankets were too thin, or there was something about like how energetically she got rid of this guest through this gentleness. And it wasn't passive, but it was gentle, yet it was firm, right? And when he realized that he had made a mistake, he came back with apologies and grace. And it was an old Russian story of some kind. And it had to do with like hospitality rules. Like when you tell stories, any native stories or indigenous stories, they always have like a purpose and a reason. Anyway, bear is not especially in this deck, is not an aggressive card. Bear is all about waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew, new beginnings, new things, new opportunities. There's a threshold happening even in my life right now, and I'm taking a class on grief, death, and dying, and at the same time, my instructor is reminding me of another person in my life. I think they're both I know one is a natural number 6. I'm pretty sure my instructor's a natural number 6. And so I'm getting like a double whammy of natural number 6 shadow, And in that dynamic, I am also getting these amazing tidbits of universal lessons, which is about the feminine energy of being strong and yet soft and resilient not in one way. I never want to use that word again because there's a context of you just have to put up with shit in the world and you have to let people treat you bad. That's not the resilient I'm talking about. I'm talking about resilient capacity. And I talk about capacity a lot recently because there is a capacity that women have the ability to hold. And energetically, you add bear to that, and that capacity just grows. Think of how resilient and how much capacity bear has for starting new things. I mean, a bear goes into hibernation in the wintertime and has held this capacity of storing energy. That's when she has her cubs, and then she emerges in the spring. And she's hungry. She wants to protect her cubs. There's a certain amount of capacity, resilient capacity, that has to do with that. Bear is a perfect feminine animal. And abundance, because I know that this card talks a lot about abundance, like manifesting abundance. And I want to move you away from the idea that abundance has to do with dollar signs. And I'm doing this on purpose. Because in the medicine wheel, which I threw over here and now I can't reach, in the medicine wheel, body, mind, spirit, emotion, okay? The outside of the wheel is community. The outside part of the wheel is community. And community is where that actual manifestation starts to happen. One of the things that I've talked about abundance and manifesting before, and one of the things that I haven't really leaned into, but I'm leaning into it now, which is that second dimensional community aspect, that self-care aspect of food and community and connection through food, communal delight, communal connection. And in the body activation paradigm, it's the 9, it's the center of the back. And the harmony, the wholeness, the pulling it all together. When we talk about abundance in some of these different cards, like in this one, abundance, you don't need to push so hard to receive what's naturally coming to you. When you're working in harmony with the natural world, and when you're working in harmony with your body and your natural energies, and you're working in harmony with how we connect to each other. You know, I do daily devotions every single day for myself, but I share this with you because there is a piece of connecting to other people that we need. We need this in our world, and we need these connections. Even if people get pissed at me and they're mad, or I've said something wrong. I am autistic. I've been watching a lot of autistic reels, and I'm hilarious. I think it's hilarious because a lot of the situations that people have been putting on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I've lived those things. And in interpersonal communication with an autistic person, we don't feel the need for subtlety. I want authentic, genuine connection. And so when I say something and I've hurt somebody's feelings and they are not communicating with me that I've hurt their feelings, I have no idea what's going on. And it can seem like it's no longer this softness, but that's not true. In everything that I say and do, there's a lot of care. There is a lot of softness. Even in my raging anger and frustration, there is a gentleness that I know is there, because even in my angriest, well, minus rage, even in my angriest, there is a quality of recognition that I'm going to have to soften it for the people around me, because this is going to not be gentle for them. So there is a quality of when we go into new things, looking at how we accept those new things into our life and allow the unfolding of the magic of the manifesting that's happening. And if you're following your blueprint, the universe will do anything and everything for you to help you with your blueprint, always. When you're having time shifts, when you're having these alignment moments where you've heard this before, your signposts are showing up, when all of those weird deja vus are happening, when it feels like you're going in the direction you need to be going, you trust it. And you trust it with gentleness. You trust it with the awareness that there has a great deal of capacity. There is an emergence from seeming darkness into light. And it's not scary. And as long as you have community around you, you're going to move forward just fine. And is it hard? Yes. I'm not saying life just gets easy, snap your fingers. There's a lot of things in this world. That's why we have multiple life themes. Things are hard. It's supposed to be hard, because this is also part of the reason we came here. It's harder than a lot of other places in the universe. The struggles we have are real and they're full of rich opportunities, and you don't have to hold on to the karma to move forward. Releasing the karma, getting out of the karmic whirlpool, is recognizing when the gentleness is necessary, when the strength is necessary, recognizing what your blueprint is, recognizing what the path is, and not getting caught so much in this place of withdrawal, lethargy. When you withdraw, even when I kind of stuck my head in the sand and withdrew because my guides were like, the world is not ready for you, you need to kind of pull back and wait for the dark time, it didn't mean that I disappeared. I got more involved in another hobby that I have. I got involved in new job opportunities. I learned some amazing things. I became a mold health coach. I became a phlebotomist. I did this wonderful journey for several years, and then the dark time came and I was more ready. I had done the internal bear kind of hibernation, but I never truly disconnected from the world around me, because that wasn't healthy. But I did disconnect from things that I'd been connected to before. I quit teaching classes, and that led to an opportunity to teach at a school. And moving forward, always moving forward. You don't go backwards, you always move forward. Even when it feels like you're moving backwards 3 steps to move forward, you're always moving forward. And this card is telling you about the feminine gentleness. Being gentle, honoring your body, honoring your energies. And the feminine way is not about force, but that doesn't mean women warriors aren't strong. And it doesn't matter what your gender, your sexuality, no matter what it is, we all have the capacity to honor the feminine forces within us. And we all have the capacity to honor the gentleness that feminine energy brings without losing any strength, without losing any power, perceived power, or anything like that. And there's a reason why many families, even, it's really funny, like some of the Italian families and Greek families, if you pay attention, they're very matrilineal. And there's a strength in that. And when we really lean back into the matrilineal paradigm, we find there is a lot more balance in how we look at arguments, how we look at family structures, how we look at where the capacity for prosperity is. It doesn't mean every woman is healed enough to be able to handle that role, but not every man is healed enough to handle a patriarchal role either. So balance, go back to the wheel, always go back to the wheel. Anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Until my new decks come, I'm going to be kind of randomly picking one of these, because we have gone through all of these since 2017. Somewhere in the archives, they are there. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you in prayer. Blessed be.